Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals, and in this video I wanted to share with you my Edith Holden book collection. So in the junk journal world, this book collection is highly sought after. Everyone loves, not everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of people in the junk journal world look for Edith Holden books, love Edith Holden books, and go thrifting and go to op shops and vintage shops looking for these books. In particular, The Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. I have done flip throughs of each of these books separately on my channel, so I won't go in depth in this video, but just give you a quick look at the inside. Beautiful illustrations. I love the font. Everyone who likes Edith Holden loves all of this. The illustrations, the text. Yeah, really, really beautiful. So in the junk journal world, that's how I got introduced to these books. I had never heard of them before. It was only when, the ladies were talking about finding these books and making Edith Holden journals out of them that I started myself getting into them and falling in love with these pages. Absolutely beautiful. So this one's very similar. This is, I'll just give you a look. It goes by the months in order, and this one is the nature notes of an Edwardian lady. So very, very similar. And then this one here is a sort of biography of Edith Holden's life. And what I love about it though is it's not just writing, it has photos, pictures, some of her illustrations here, and yeah, really lovely, really, really lovely. And I was reading this book myself, and interesting to learn about her life. And look at these, aren't they beautiful? So I had an idea to make like an Edith Holden biography journal at one stage, where I could cut out these pieces and use them as the actual ephemera, like there's actual postcards and different documents and things in here. So that's really cool. And this really inspires me myself for the books that I want to do. So I actually have doubles pretty much of all of these books. Some of them I even had triples, and I am keeping the doubles. So the duplicate copy, or whatever you want to call it, I have a copy for myself that I won't be cutting up, that I won't be turning into journals, because these actually really inspire me for the books that I want to make myself. As a journaler, the books that I want to publish are books that are as if they're peeks inside my own journal. And so these three I have copies of that I won't ever be cutting into or anything. These are just for my own inspiration, for my own ideas for the books that I want to make and that kind of thing. So yeah, love these. I also have doubles of these. Most of these I actually got from eBay. I live in a small country town. I've never found Edith Holden books where I live, and I rarely find them. It was only in Melbourne where I found 3 Edith Holden books, and amazingly it was all in one trip. Different shops, but one trip when I was in Melbourne. But other than that, all of these books came from eBay, and I would just search on eBay, and it's hit or miss whenever they're available and if they're at a reasonable price or not. So when I find them cheap and affordable, that's when I got them. But basically I've had it in my heart for a long time now to make an Edith Holden journal collection. And I have made in the past quite a few Edith Holden journals, but they've always been, 1 or 2 here or there. And as a journal maker, as a journal artist, I've always had the inspiration to create a collection, and I've been saving these basically. I've been hoarding my doubles. I've been hoarding them. This one's really beautiful too. Different layout, but really beautiful images still. Absolutely love it. And I do love how it has the months like that. And so now's the time. This year is the year that I am trying to clear out all my stuff, basically. All the things I've been hoarding and saving this is the year I am using it all. So I've made my last bird journal collection, I've made my last granny chic journal collection, I've made my last vintage sewing journal collection, using all of the things. So I don't have any granny chic pages left anymore. I have got no more bird ephemera left anymore, no more bird pages, except for the ones that I'm keeping for my personal journaling. And so my next plan to tackle is the Edith Holden collection. So I will be using up all of these. This one's a crafty embroidery book using Edith Holden's designs and things. So really lovely. And yeah, now's the time. And over on my Patreon, that's where I will be making a start to finish journal, Edith Holden journal. So this year, that's what I'm doing for my Sapphire tier, which is the video tier, and the lowest tier. So it's the $5 tier where every month I am making a journal from start to finish with a different theme. So in January, I made a Daphne's Diary journal. In February, I made a vintage sewing journal. In March, I am making an Edith Holden journal. And then later on, we'll do maybe a little golden book journal, maybe want to do a vintage French journal, a botanical journal, a linen journal. These are just the ones that I have in mind. A fairy journal that I want to do by the end of the year, or if not by the end of the year, by the end of my journal making, using up my stash type of thing. And yeah, so here is my collection. I love seeing it all here, and it does reassure me that I do have doubles. A lot of people say they can't bring themselves to cut up these books. I totally understand. That is why I have doubles, so I can keep one and cut up the other. And I know in some circles that's sacrilege, you can't possibly cut up these beautiful books, and if that's you, totally understand. You preserve them how you want to preserve them, but in the world of junk journals, this is what we do. We like to give new life to books. We love to celebrate and honor books by turning them into artwork, by turning them into meaningful journals that can then be added to and used. And yeah, it's not everyone's cup of tea, and we're all different and we use books in different ways. But this is just something that I have done ever since I was a kid. I would cut up books and I would stick the pictures on my walls, or I would journal with them, or I would frame them, and that just made me really happy, and that's where I get my joy from. And some books, yeah, of course, my doubles I keep as books because I get joy from them as books as well. But if you get joy from cutting them up and using them as journals, you go ahead and do that too. Love, love, love it. And yeah, this gives me so much joy. So now that I've shared this collection, I have to admit I am still a bit nervous about finally using these to make my Edith Holden collection, because my plan by the end of this collection is to have no more Edith Holden books aside from the ones that I'm keeping for me, these 3. But everything else, like all of this, every page used. Every page will be either a cover, a page in a journal, or a journal card or a tag or some sort of ephemera or pocket or something. And yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, but I have to keep reminding myself, if I want, I can always buy more later. That's the thing. We can always buy more supplies later. If we really want to, if our heart is drawn to it, there's always going to be more supplies. There's always going to be more beautiful fabric and beautiful ephemera. And if at the end of this whole year I feel drawn to keep on buying books, then I will. But for now, my heart is just to use them all and clear out space to make room for my next project of bookmaking. But anyway, we'll see what happens. And this is exciting. So I'm going to begin nice and easy over on my Patreon, making one Edith Holden journal. And then from there, hopefully that will break me out of this and I can finally make the collection and see how we go from there. Exciting. Alright guys, so hope you're doing really well. If you would like to see that series, you can head on over to my Patreon now. The link is down in the description box below. And if you have a love of Edith Holden too, let me know if you make your own journals or if you have a favorite book of hers. There is actually one other book that I really wanted from her as well, called Cookery Notes, and I think there's one called there's a whole range. And I was hoping to get those two, but now that I'm, ending my journal making and trying to use all the things, I just have to let go of that. And because this year what I'm doing is not buying any more supplies, unless I need them. And since I don't need any more Edith Holden books, I'm going to let that one go and grieve that a little bit, grieve that loss that I won't get that book again. But, again, in 5 years' time, if I'm still heart-led to want that book, I can always go ahead and buy it. But, for now, I'm using all the things. This is not a time to buy books. This is a time to use the books and clear out my space. I'm so looking forward. I've got a whole bookcase, and on the bottom of my bookcase, that's where I keep my books for journal making. And by the end of the year, my aim is for that case to be cleared so that I can have my journal making stuff gone and my book making stuff for the books I want to publish to be on that shelf instead. I'm really looking forward to that. Well, that's my motivation. I'm looking forward to that so much. I can't wait to just get rid of all this stuff so I can get all my bookmaking stuff there, which is, my personal ephemera, my personal photo albums, my personal journals, my personal artwork and folios and folders and things. That's what I want to fill that shelf up with. And I'm just itching to do it. But before I can do that, I need to use this stuff. And so, yeah, it's motivation. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a long time. But I'm slowly getting there. Like I said, I've done the bird journals, Granny Chic, and the vintage sewing. Yes, we're getting there. We're getting there, you guys. Anyway, so that's kind of like a bit of my journey. I want to share a bit more about that later on too. As we constantly evolve as people, as artists, as creatives, and we always have different projects and different things that inspire us. And I'm just going, where my heart is led. So yeah, I encourage you to go where your heart is led to. Do what gives you joy, and I will see you later. Bye, journalists. Oh, bye, everyone. Special thank you to my beautiful patrons who supported me in January. If you would like to become a patron in February, and the link is down below, and that is where you get access to extra videos, all my printables, all my digital kits in my Etsy. There are post tiers, mail tiers, and journal tiers as well. There is a Marco Polo tier and just lots of fun stuff over there. There is also a link to all of my available courses down below in the description box. You can join those anytime for all of my Patreon and courses. They're monthly subscriptions that work just like Netflix or Spotify, and you're charged on the date that you sign up, and you can cancel anytime.